All right. Hello and welcome everyone to another of the 2022 builds refreshes. Today we're going to be talking about Limbo. Now, Limbo is kind of the poster child for the weirdo frame, where he has just kind of a lot of weird nonsense going on, and if you're into that, you're here to make that work. And that's cool. You're not looking for the most efficient frame or like the most overall survivable or the frame that applies to the most situations. You just want this weirdo to do his weird thing. And that's a-okay. So today we are going to be talking about two builds for Limbo because they do pretty significantly different things in significantly different parts of the game. First and foremost is Airburst Limbo, where you replace Banish with Airburst. So, Airburst usually not like super notable for a lot of frames, but for Limbo specifically, the notable functionality is that whenever you have your Rift open, which is your Cataclysm, you have this bubble. And when enemies are outside the bubble, basically you can't shoot them. And not being able to shoot them is not good. So, if you use Airburst, this will ragdoll enemies and form them into a ball. This buffed many times ability, you can fire it at the edge or kind of edge-ish of Cataclysm, and it will zoop the enemies all the way in to the ball that Airburst tries to make. Unlike some other crowd control abilities that you could give Limbo, where it will stop them on the edge, this instead will bring them like properly into the bubble so that you can really get at them and kill them. And that solves one of the major problems that Limbo has, which is having to recast the bubble like super constantly, because dealing with the enemies right on the edge as they constantly exit and enter the bubble is super, super annoying. So that gets rid of that kind of problem that Limbo usually has going on. Other than that, you're doing the normal stuff of activating stasis, making sure stasis is active, and then opening up your bubble. And in this case, we are using Rift Torrent to see some funny numbers. Rift Torrent is the augment for your Rift Surge, which is you apply this to all the enemies that are in your bubble, and you get a hilarious damage bonus with Rift Torrent. This is affected by strength, and we get 54% per enemy. Now, really notably, and very unfortunately, this damage increase is not its own multiplier. This is the same damage slot as Serration, and that will include, very importantly, your primary Merciless and really all of your primary and secondary Arcanes. This damage stat that you get with this very huge damage number is going to be the same slot and add together for your total number with Rift Torrent. And that's really unfortunate because this is its own separate multiplier. You could probably really easily hit damage cap, and that would be super fun and like a fun, goofy thing to do. As it stands, that's usually not going to happen, but it is going to allow you to do millions upon millions of damage, and that might be good enough for you. Of note, it's like only active whenever you're in the Rift, which is kind of neither here nor there because acolytes and stuff can enter the Rift, but it does mean that whenever you have to exit the Rift in order to like kill a nullifier or whatever, you are not going to have that damage bonus, which usually doesn't factor in as nullifiers aren't particularly tough, but can be a problem. Also, for nullifier diving mainly, we are running Rolling Guard as our only survivability outside of just refreshing our shield gate by casting stuff. A notable change that you can make to this build is that if you feel like you don't need this much damage from Rift Torrent, or if you just don't want to run Rift Torrent at all, if you just like don't want this damage, and that's a perfectly reasonable thing as well, you can just run Natural Talent here for the extra cast speed, and that's just going to make everything you're doing much, much quicker. And if that's more comfortable for you, you can, replacing either, I would go Augur Secrets or Rift Torrent is going to be really strong for that. I would replace Secrets over Reach, and the reason I would replace Secrets over Reach is because the Strength, I think, is doing the least work here. You definitely want a certain size of Cataclysm to make that worthwhile, though, if you are doing like a mobile defense or something with Limbo, the lower range might be better, and you might even take Stretch out to get to the amount of range that you want. Now then, the other build that we're not going to be showing off in the Steel Path run because it's not for that is the Sunder Limbo build. So this is basically a hyper safe farming build. You go into the Rift, which gives you constant energy generation, plus Zeneric, which gives you constant energy generation, and you just get to spam 280% range, 178% strength, thermal Sunder into enemies at absolutely no risk to yourself. You can cast this while you are in the rift, and it will hit enemies both inside and outside of the rift, as it is an ability. It allows you to basically be completely invulnerable, and anything that will die to Thermal Sunder will die to this. Also, you can put Thermal Sunder in your first slot if you want to run like Elite Sanctuary Onslaught with this. You very much can do that, or even regular SO if you're farming Korra or something. And it's very good for that. Would I say it's like as good as the Harrow version? Generally, no, but in some situations, it'll be more so what you want. Specifically, if you want to pay less attention, because you are quite a bit more invincible with having to pay way less attention, because nothing can interact with you outside of a few minor exceptions. And then, of course, we have the classic Limbo thing, what he was used for mainly before Zaku took his place, and that is the Boxer build. This is natural talent, max range, and then just like spamming 4 to open boxes on the map, running loot detector, and doing all that business. You can still do that with Limbo, but I would really advise you use Zaku instead, because they are just so much better in every way at doing this exact same job. But it is still an available thing that Limbo can do. So yeah, basically, we're just going to jump in here. I am using the Trumna, and I did use the Trumna for the test, and that reason is twofold. One, you could put more Forma into Limbo. This is a no Forma build, and bring Prime Sure-Footed, and then you can use the like much more high explosive weaponry and stuff, and that's going to be quite good. But I wanted to take a weapon that's not like just immediately like can do the entire test by itself as long as you're tanky enough, and then just shoot enemies in the rift with that. Wanted a weapon that's going to actually see benefit from you using your 3 with the augment, so you can see the kind of differences between how much damage you're going to be getting. Anyway, AI doesn't need to be paused here, but it will effectively be paused anyway. Go into the rift, turn time off in the rift, and then open the rift. Here they are. They are all hit by the 3 now, and then you can just pop them for tons of damage. Obviously, this is without my damage being stacked up from like those first couple enemies, but it is still just absolutely one-shotting them. And I am getting that huge number you're seeing up there, although it is decreasing every time I get a kill on these enemies, because it is based on the amount of enemies that are currently affected by it, not that were total affected by it ever. But yeah, that's pretty much what's up. Outside of the minor downside, or well, sometimes not so minor downside of your 3, if your 3 is still affecting enemies, they will sometimes like still be in the rift when time is off. You should strive to make sure that you have time off in the rift at all times, so that you can always retreat there and be safe. Obviously, you have rolling guard, but that is mostly for exiting the rift into areas that you will not be able to drop your cataclysm, like nullifiers, to get rid of them. Also, a thing that is very notable for this build, if you have a Panzer Vulpaphyla, the Panzer Vulpaphyla is going to be able to put the spores on enemies really, really easily and very, very safely, and you're going to have a huge uptime on that. That is a really big damage add here, and because you don't really need any survivability or anything, I definitely would suggest the Panzer Vulpa. It's very, very useful for Limbo for getting all those viral procs on enemies preemptively before you set up your stuff. But yeah, that's what Limbo's got going on. Enjoy the Steel Path run. I did do the Steel Path run like with just me talking. It wasn't like an on-stream run, but let me know if you guys enjoy that in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. By decidedly mediocre build, I mean decidedly mediocre Warframe. It's a goofy playstyle, though, that you can do. You can do it. I believe in you. I'm the best at hacking. Okay. Enemies can't shoot at me. I should let them approach. I don't have any need to even get more life support for a moment here. Do ye old time stop. Do ye old bubble. Do ye old rip surge. Extremely high number, go burn. And like reasonably, I mean, is the rotation just that I should just like reload between arcs of doing this? Those enemies exit the rift, like they're not in here. problem is that the enemies are not constantly respawning whenever I do it in this manner. Bring all the enemies out there into here. We can keep shooting them. Enemies outside the rift over there are now in the rift. Yeah, that's actually just really nice to be able to drag them in, honestly. Number? Oh yeah, that's good. We do love funny number. That is kind of the point of this build. And also that we can use this one in order to rift more enemies than actual Banish could ever hope to pull in. Oh, door's open. Come on in, everybody. Hope I did not reactivate my 2. That was almost fatal. Start by 2 here. I want to say not bad on life support, like this could be worse. Honestly, once I'm built up, it's like really not necessary to cast my 3, but the amount of damage that it does is very fun, and that has merit. It's also like hilariously safe. Enemies you should play closer. What if you considered? Okay. I'm glad I increased the range on this build, because before I was testing with lower range and it just was like not, like it was just that it wouldn't cover like enough of the room for me to get like enough kills like to my taste, basically. And that's no good. That'll clear all them out. This will refill. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We love just hitting for millions. Not for any reason, but just to do it. Just to do it is good. Obviously, like, the complete safety of this also is like a thing to consider. Obviously, that safety will immediately come into question the moment an Acolyte shows up, because this is one of the first tests that I've done. The other ones just didn't feel like they were where I wanted them to be. Before the Acolyte even showed up, I was like, no, this needs work. But we'll see once the Acolyte shows up how I'm feeling. Because I'm pretty sure the Acolytes can enter the Rift. If they can't, then that would be annoying. That would be a thing that would make it so that it would be annoying that I don't have my one. So before this, come on now. Before this Acolyte shows up, I'm actually just going to head over to these air canisters and grab them. Because, like, realistically, if you're doing this, like, you're not going for, like, full optimization. Like, you're playing Limbo because it's goofy and fun. And that's okay. You should do that. You should enjoy Limbo. I'm happy for you. In fact, I want that for you. why I was doing shot just there. But it's fine. I think that was actually some of the enemies that were still rifted because of Rift Surge, because you do add an amount of danger. Just for whatever reason, it doesn't, like, it re-rifts the enemies that were surged out, which is useless and should not be the case, because why would you do that? But that is how it works. All right, here comes the boy. We have our stuff back. I think he can be rifted. He might actually even be able to be time stopped. Rifted, yes. Time stopped, no. However, he should still be vulnerable to this. And the damage boost that we get from Surge. Yep. Okay, so it's still really easy to kill. Ooh, a rare mod. Streamline. That's fine. Okay, well, it's good to know that, like, the boost works on the Acolytes. Also, from the... Whenever we did the stuff that I had recorded from stream, you guys said that you enjoyed, like, having me talk during these parts. And I know this is not, like, an on-stream one. This is actually me at, like, 1 a.m. With my air conditioning being broken, but needing to do this video. But hopefully you guys still enjoy it. Maybe it's, like, you know, more fun just to have me still talking about nonsense and, like, my testing process, because this is the thing that actually, like, ends up in the video. I mean, this is literally my first run testing out this with Zephyr's 1 ability, which seems to be pretty good though, because I mean, you get to use it through the Rift and everything, and it can do all kinds of good stuff. Like, there's so many different good applications for Zephyr's 1, like whether that's like to group enemies early, or the scaling damage that it does, or like a million other things. Like, there's quite a bit to it that's, like, quality. Oops. Things that are not quality, me forgetting that I should probably kill these enemies. Me forgetting to play the game and not just have conversation. You're welcome, everyone. I think that just goes to show, like, how much Limbo can really just chill out. Like, you are max chill out mode whenever you are your Limbo, because like half the time basically you were just completely invulnerable to damage. Alright, that's more than enough to get us through here. Let's do one more run through on these guys though. Just for fun. Let's see some big numbers. There's a lot of guys in this hallway. If we get any really big numbers, direct hit. There's a 10 million in there. Pretty good. Regardless, these like boosted slash procs from this are always going to like absolutely shred. I do wonder, just as like a thing that's coming up here at the end of the month, the new Xmas are going to be in. I wonder if they'll be immune to the time stop. And if they are, how many Limbos will cry themselves to sleep that night? See your big number? Honey reds. Oh, there's a 3.5 million though. Millions here and there. Oh, you know, we got the other acolytes showing up. We might as well do that. Oh, it's fucking Capitan Bubbalo. Oh, killed me. I must have hit the bubble. Well, either way, I think you guys get it. I think you guys get the idea. We're Limbo. We're doing like nonsensical Limbo things that are way, way more effort than we'll ever be able to, like, you know, be payoff that like makes sense for what we're doing. Pretty sure I killed myself on that Frost Acolyte's bubble. Oh well then. Yeah, that's the run of this. That's Limbo. He's gimmicky. He's doing his gimmicky Limbo things. I hope you guys liked this, and this is the end of the video. Goodbye. Goodbye.